Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel, Cracking IELTS 9.0. So today I'll be discussing Cambridge 14 Test 4 Reading Passage 1 of the Academic Reading module. As you can see, the heading says, The Secret of Staying Young. So first of all, we have some fill-ups and then we have true, false and not given. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the passage. Okay, so what's the first question? Sabel Giraldo's research focused on a total of dash different age groups of ants analyzing. So he's talking about the focus on a total of dash different age groups. So he's talking about different age groups of ants. Okay, so where do we find this? Let's look at these words in the paragraph. Yeah, let's look at the third paragraph. In the lab, P. dentata worker ants typically live for around 140 days. Giraldo focused on ants of 4 age ranges: 20 to 22 days, 45 to 47 days, 95 to 97 days, and 120 to 122 days. Unlike all the previous studies, which only estimate how old the ants were, her work tracked the ants from the time the pupae became adults, so she knew their exact ages. Then she put them through a range of tests. So here our question is about the different age groups, right? So what are the different age groups? These. So in total she focused on 4 age ranges, means 4 different age groups. So the word we are looking for is 4. So the answer for this one would be 4. We have to write in words, guys, okay? Because what is the instruction? It is one word only. So we have to write the word 4. If you write the number 4, this will be wrong. Okay? So here he gave only one word. So we have to write only in words. So this is the right answer. This will be wrong. Okay. Behavior. How well ants looked after their dash. Okay, so these ants looked after there is something. What is that they looked after? Behavior. He's talking about the behavior. Okay, so how well ants looked after their dash. So Giraldo watched how well the ants took care of the young of the colony. Okay, looked after means took care, right? So looked after their who? Young of the colony. So young is the word we are looking for. Okay, regarding how often each ant attended to, carried and fed them. So our answer is in the first sentence itself. Young is our answer, right? So this one should be young, right? Next, their ability to locate dash using a scent trail. Okay, so their ability to locate something. Okay, they are able to locate something using a scent trail. Okay, let's look at this in the paragraph. She compared how well 20-day-old, 95-day-old ants followed the telltale scent that the insects usually leave to mark a trail to food. Oh, great. See, here we spoke about the telltale scent, right? Scent and mark a trail to food. Oh, yes. So she compared how these two ants followed a scent that the insects usually leave. Okay, to mark a trail to food means locating this food. So food is the word we are looking for. Okay, so to locate food is our answer. Okay, next, the effect that dash had on them. So he's talking about some effect that dash had on them. Okay, something had an effect on these ants. What is that? He tested how ants responded to light. Okay, and also measured how active they were by counting how often ants in a small dish walked across a line. And she experimented with how ants react to live prey, that is a tethered fruit fly. Giraldo expected the older ants to perform poorly in all these tasks, but the elderly insects were all good caretakers and trail followers. The 95-day-old ants could track the scent even longer than their younger counterparts. They all responded to light well. So he's talking about the response to light. And the older ants were more active And when it came to reacting to prey, the older ants attacked the poor fruit fly just as aggressively as the young ones did, flaring their mandibles or pulling at the fly's legs. Okay, so what is the question? The effect that dash had on them. So he's talking about the effect of something. So what is that? See, she tested how ants responded to light. Oh wow. Response to light means the the effect of light on them, right? And also measured how active they were. So he's testing the response to light. So the effect that light had on them. Also here also she says that they all responded to light well. Should be light. Okay guys. Next, how dash they attacked prey. So she's talking about the prey now, attacking the prey. How dash they attacked prey. So how did they attack it? When it came to reaching to prey, okay, here we have about prey, right? The older ants attacked the poor fruit fly just as aggressively as the young ones. Oh yes. So the older ants attacked their prey aggressively as like the old ones, flaring their mandibles or pulling at the fly's legs. So what is the answer we are looking for? Aggressively. Okay. So even the old ants, how aggressively they attack the prey. So aggressively is our answer. Okay. Next, brains. Comparison between age and the dash of dying cells in the brains of ants. Talking about the dying cells in the brains of ants. Comparison between the age and what of the dying cells. So there is some comparison between the age and dash of the dying cells. What is that? Then Giraldo compared the brains of 20-day-old, 95-day-old ants, identifying any cells that were close to death. Okay. She saw no major differences with age, nor was there any difference in the location of the dying cells. Okay, showing that the age didn't seem to affect specific brain functions. Okay, so here we saw something about the dying cells, right? And comparison between age and dash. So there was no major difference with the age, as there was any difference in the location. Okay, great. Location of the dying cells. So dying cells he already gave. So answer is location. So and the location of the dying cells. Okay. Next, condition of synaptic complexes, areas in which dash meet in brain's mushroom bodies. So he's talking about some areas where something meet, okay, and condition of synaptic complexes. So this is our keyword, and brain's mushroom bodies. Let's look at the passage now. So we'll move to the next page now. She also wanted to see if aging affects the density of synaptic complexes. Wow, here we have the word. Within these structures, regions where neurons come together. Oh wow. Neurons come together means meeting here. Coming together means meeting, right? So regions means areas where neurons meet. Oh, so the word we are looking for is neurons. Okay, so areas in which neurons meet, right? Okay, next one. Level of 2 dash in the brain associated with aging. So level of 2 dash in the brain associated with aging he's talking about. So some level of 2, he's talking about two different entities. What is that? What was more, the old ants didn't experience any drop in the levels of their serotonin or dopamine, brain chemicals whose decline often coincides with aging. In humans, for example, a decrease in serotonin has been linked to Alzheimer's disease. Great. So he's talking about the level of 2. So any drop in the levels of 2. What are these two? Serotonin and dopamine. These are brain chemicals. Okay. So two brain chemicals that are associated with aging. Okay. So yeah, we have the word brain already here. So level of two chemicals in the brain associated with aging. Okay guys. Right. Clear. Let's move to the next set of questions now. So the ninth one, dentata ants are the only known animals which remain active for almost their whole lives. Okay, so he's talking about the delta ants are the only known animals, he says. Only known means these are the only known animals which remain active for almost their whole lives. Okay, so these are the keywords we have to keep in mind. Okay, let's read the paragraph now. Okay, let's read the second paragraph, guys. Such age-defying feats are rare in animal kingdom. Okay, he says they are very rare. The naked mole rats can live for almost 30 years and stay fit for nearly their entire lives. Wow, I think we got the answer here, right? So naked mole rats, okay, they also can stay fit for almost their entire lives. So dentata ants, they are not the only creatures or animals. Naked mole rats can also live the same way. See, they can still reproduce even when old and they never get cancer. But the vast majority of animals deteriorate with age just like people do. Like the naked mole rat, ants are social creatures that usually live in highly organized colonies. It's this social complexity that makes dentata useful for studying aging in people. Okay, great. So our answer is in this second sentence itself. See, age-defying feats are very rare, but these mole rats are also they also stay fit for their entire lives. So other than these dentata ants, mole rats they also stay. What he says here, dentata ants are the only known animals which remain active for almost their whole lives. No, they are not the only known animals. Even naked mole rats they also stay the same way. So what is the answer, guys? Clearly ninth one is false, right? He says these are the only animals. No, these are not the only animals. Even male naked mole rats also live active for almost their whole life. So ninth one is false. Next, Giraldo was the first person to study dentata ants using precise data about the insects' ages. So he says Giraldo was the first person to study these ants using precise data about the insect's age. So let's look in the paragraph. Okay, so let's look at this paragraph, guys. This is the first time anyone has looked at both behavioral and neural changes in these ants so thoroughly, says Giraldo. Wow. This sentence means who recently published the findings in the Proceedings of the Royal Society. Scientists have looked at some similar aspects in bees, but the results of recent bee studies were mixed. Okay, look at the first sentence itself. What does it say? This is the first time anyone has looked into both the behavioral and neural changes in these ants thoroughly, says Giraldo. So it means she is the first person to study about these ants, right? Giraldo was the first person. Yes, she is. That's what is mentioned in the paragraph. So 10th one is true, guys. Okay. Next. The ants in Giraldo's experiments behaved as she has predicted that they would. So he's talking about the ants in the experiments behaved as she had predicted. So whatever she had predicted, the ants have behaved in a similar way. So let's see whether this is true or not. Let's look at the fourth paragraph, guys. From here, Giraldo expected the older ants to perform poorly in all these tasks, but the elderly insects were all good caretakers and trail followers. The 98-day-old ants could track the scent even longer than their younger counterparts. Wow. So, did this thing happen as she expected? No, right? What she expected? She expected that older ants to perform poorly, but they performed betterly, right? But they perform in a very good way. They were all good caretakers and trail followers than the younger counterparts. So, what she has expected did not happen. So, the ants in the Giraldo's experiments behaved as she predicted? No, they didn't behave. Okay. So, the answer for this one is false clearly. Okay. So, 11th one is clearly false, guys. Okay, next, the recent studies of bees use different methods of measuring age-related decline. So he's talking about the recent studies of bees used different methods of measuring age related decline. Okay, age related he talks about. Let's see. Right. Scientists have looked at some similar aspects in bees. Okay, he's talking about bees now. But the results of recent bee studies were mixed. Some studies showed age related declines. Okay, which biologists call senescence, and others didn't. For now, the study raises more questions than it answers. Giraldo says, including how dentata stays in such good the bees here and the age related declines also. But is it mentioned that these use different methods of measuring the decline? Is there anything mentioned in this paragraph about different methods of measuring? I didn't read anything. So, what is the answer, guys? As there is nothing mentioned about different methods of measuring, what is the answer? Clearly not given, right? Okay, the last one. Dentata ants kept in laboratory conditions tend to live longer lives. Okay, so the ants kept in laboratory, they tend to live longer. Live longer is the keyword. Now let's search for this. Let's read this paragraph, last but one paragraph. Also, if the ants don't deteriorate with age, why do they die at all? Out in the wild, the ants probably don't live for a full 140 days thanks to predators, disease, and just being in an environment that's much harsher than the comforts of the lab. Okay. The lucky ants that do live into old age may suffer a steep decline just before dying. But she can't say for sure because her study wasn't designed to follow an ant's final moments. Okay. So, what does this sentence mean, guys? The first sentence, what does this mean? Okay, what does they mean? So, out in the wild, so when the ants are in the wild, they probably don't live for full 140 days. Why do they don't live? Because of the predators, means those who eat these ants, and diseases, different types of diseases, and just being in an environment which is much harsher than comfort of the lab. So, laboratory environment is different, the outside environment is different, and outside one is much harsher than the laboratory atmosphere. Comforts of the lab, so laboratory is more comfortable than the wildlife. So that's the reason ant may live for longer. See, in the wild ants don't live for full 140 days. Okay, so in the laboratory they may live because there are no predators, no disease, no harsh environment, right? 10th one is clearly true, guys. Okay, yes, 13th one is true now. So that is the end of today's video, guys. I hope it is helpful. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my video. These videos are extremely helpful for people who want to crack the IELTS test. If you can follow my tips and tricks, I am sure that you can score more than 8 bands in the IELTS reading module especially. So until next time, goodbye, have a great day.